things we've been learning in our classes, some Italian tourism, things to kind of be aware of as you travel over there. So here's a little Hospitality 101 from us hospitality students.
So the hospitality industry is built on 4 core aspects of service. We'll be doing a deeper dive into all these aspects later on so you can learn a little bit more. But the 4 aspects are intangibility, perishability, heterogeneity, and inseparability.
So just diving a bit deeper into intangibility, the services that we're selling are a bit more challenging for our clients to kind of experience before they happen, such as like a wedding. You can't experience a wedding before it happens. You're essentially selling a promise. So this just makes selling hospitality service all that more of a challenge, and it makes trust in our businesses and our employees all that more important for our business success.
For perishability, the way we like to think about it is that if a service is not used, that revenue opportunity is lost forever. Say if you work at just like a regular store, if you don't sell something, that can be sold at another time. But if you're at like a hotel and it's not fully booked one day, or on an airplane and not all the seats are booked, if those aren't booked by the time that the plane takes off or the day passes, that opportunity is gone and you will not be able to get that opportunity back.
Heterogeneity, keeping a safe and inclusive space for everyone, individual preferences with satisfactions and like wherever you're staying, like hotels and resorts, and then the hospitality services that can vary depending on the human nature of the services, and there are so many factors that can influence the execution of services and how guests consume them, and then these factors can vary from visit to visit.
And lastly, but certainly not least, inseparability. In this industry, all of the services are purchased and produced simultaneously. So, like in a restaurant, you can't bring the food back after you eat it or after you consume it. It's essentially made to order. And this extends to restaurants, even all sorts of services you might get in a hotel, and even other outlets, like I said before, like airplane seats.
So the main differences between hospitality and events is that hospitality guests are visiting one place to experience individually personalized experiences, and then for events, guests are attendees all visiting one place to experience the same thing.
And then guest experiences is a big part of the hospitality industry. It's defined as the overall impression and emotional experience a guest has during their interaction and participation within a hospitality business. This includes essential touch points such as websites, any interactions they have, whether it's follow-up emails leading up to the event, and then as well as staff interactions and their service they receive throughout it. And some factors that impact their experience is motivation, matching the motivation of the individuals at the experience with can lead to guest satisfaction, interaction, which is consumers' process involving interaction between the time flow and their expression time regarding how much they feel their time was like spent well at their experience, and flow, which means the organization structure and the movement of the event and how they were satisfied with that.
So hospitality is a very broad term, and it's split up into several different outlets, including lodging, food and beverage, travel and tourism, events, and entertainment and attractions. For lodging, that's your hotels or anything that you're staying overnight. Food and beverage, restaurants, bars. Travel and tourism, that would be like your airplanes, airports, that kind of stuff. Events, your weddings, anything like that. And then entertainment and attractions, that's your concerts, your sporting events, and all those different things.
So for Italian, within Italian tourism, they focus on art, history, gastronomy, and UNESCO cities like Venice, Rome, Florence, and Siena. Some major themes include Renaissance, wine tours, coastal escapes, and religious pilgrimages. In 2023, Italy was confirmed as the second largest destination for overnight stays in Europe, and 5th in the world for international tourist arrivals. The main destination for international tourists are Lombardy, Lazio, Veneto, and Tuscany. In terms of arrivals and overnight stays, so for cost budgeting, it's mid to high end for non-Europeans. The euro exchange rate and airline tickets especially can be costly, with the average 7 to 10 day trip costing between $2,500 and $4,000 per person. And then some major attractions include the Colosseum, the Vatican Museum and Sistine Chapel, Uffizi's Gallery, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Doge Palace, and among many others. Typically, they have a small entry fee of between $15 and $35 for guided tours and day trips. Prices may vary due to the activity, and the average 7 to 10 day sightseeing budget is about $250 to $500 per person, depending on how many guided tours you do.
Some things to keep in mind with the food and beverage while we're away is the food portions are a lot smaller than you typically see in the US. On the left side is a typical restaurant in the US, and then a home in the US, and then in Europe, which is a lot smaller. And then allergy-based foods are not as common in Italy, so if you have an allergy, just tell your server and they'll help you out. And then wines are designed to be paired with specific foods. So like red wines are made for meats like steak, and then white wine is for fish.
Okay, there are many cultural differences between the US and Italy, but I'll go over just two. So in Italy, like it's a lot more like laid back, chill lifestyle. Like if they want a break or a lunch break, they want to go out for lunch, usually their businesses will close down just so they can go, as opposed to the US, we just don't do that. Also the fashion and their style is very different. Like I know in America, like us girls will like call our friends, we're like, hey, are we dressing cute or homeless today? There's like none of that there, like because they're always dressed cute. So that's also like a big difference.
Pretty much differences. I think everyone's favorite law going into this is going to be the drinking age, alcohol laws. So in the U.S., everyone knows that it's 21 plus, very strict, take you to a bar if you're not 21. In Italy, it's 18, and they're very, very flexible on that. I was 15 when they tried to serve me. Duty of care, it is a very high, it's very universal, so it's not very different, but slight differences. It's more, your doors are expected to be locked when you go into the hotel. No wet floors, not going to fall through that. And food and safety regulations in the U.S. Food is seen and publicly posted. In Italy, everything can be tracked back to the original sources and can be essentially caught if something happens.
Regarding transportation around Italy, planes are commonly used for traveling between countries, considering that Italy is kind of in the center of Europe and you can easily travel to other countries from there and vice versa. Two of the biggest airports in Italy are through Milan and Rome. That's where most international visitors come through to visit Italy in those hot spots. Regarding trains, high-speed trains are used for long distance between big cities, and then regional trains are used for more short trips from big cities to small tiny villages. And buses are of course used for traveling around the countries between different cities, villages, and town centers. So, thank you.
Okay, so with augmented hospitality, we're blending obviously academics with the real world immersion through placemaking campaigns, which is basically using digital campaigns to kind of show through the lens of what we're doing, obviously. So this hybrid model is combining CET's cultural immersion with business-focused trips through our online travel partner, which is different than a DMO, which is kind of be our liaison in between each activity that we're doing on the more professional end. That's kind of it. And also, please just follow the Instagram.
So Gabby's going to be running our Instagram with